While Maxi was away being repaired, Camille had done all the shunting in the yard with Julian. All the way down the line to the quarry, the repairs took longer than expected, and Julian was used to collect some stones from the quarry. He was making great time as he approached the level crossing. Because of Julian's fuel tank, his driver had arranged with the quarry manager to bring loaded freight cars down to Summer Station at lunchtime, instead of later in the day. This way Julian could fill up his tank with diesel fuel and pick up the stone in one visit. He was going through the crossing when suddenly his path was crossed by a speeding car. When Julian arrived at Summer Station, he saw the car had crashed and the driver was being questioned by the police. But Julian was wondering what it would be like to be on the road. He told the other engines that night in the shed. The next morning, Julian was ready to collect his cars along the branch line. He was taking them to the quarry to fill up stones. However, he wasn't paying attention to where he was going. He was looking up at the sky, until he and his driver realized they were approaching the crossing. Up ahead, all the sand from Aaron's cars had been dumped onto the tracks, and he was in a hurry taking them to the station. Julian's driver quickly applied the brakes, but it was too late. And Julian's driver did. He came back with some news. And it was. Julian's driver had pushed him between the tracks and turned in to face the road. Julian felt like he'd fall violently on his side, but he knew his driver was ready to help him back to the yard safely, so he could be put back on the tracks. With that, his driver got him going as the two went down the road together, without the freight cars that were still on the tracks. Julian slowly made his way to the yards, but unfortunately for his wheels, they were not used to being on the roads. The rails are much better for them, and they felt like they were breaking into pieces on the road right now. The workmen arrived to lift Julian when he was turned towards the bushes and buildings. At last, the difficult journey was over for Julian, and he reached the junction safely. Maxi was there with the breakdown train. He had seen Julian feeling weak on his wheels. And Maxi did. And soon Julian was back on the tracks. He then set off on his way home to the sheds.
Hello, Julian. What are you doing on the roads? I can see that. You truly are a brave engine. I've heard you saying you want to be on the road by yourself, but now you don't like it because engines don't go on the roads.